Hi, everyone. Salut. That's all I learned in French. When my French starts and ends, I asked how it would be good afternoon in French. And the person answered it was so complicated to me. So I said, okay, I'm going to stick to salut. But I would love to learn more being here in Cannes. It's one of my favorite places. It's one of my favorite conferences. And kudos to all the organizers to make it happen. I feel like it really takes lots of efforts, and we have such a great people here and lots of things to learn this week. And also, this is the last session for today, and I see the full room. So kudos to all of you for joining us today. All right, let's start it. I'm Mariia, and I'm representing CoW today. We are decentralized autonomous organization of developers, market makers, and community members. Our main product is CoW protocol with CoW Swap UI on top of it. And today I will talk about when theory meets mainnet, intent-based trading at scale. And you might ask, why only mainnet? The answer is pretty straightforward because we have the most volume on the mainnet. And the idea of today's presentation is to talk about the reality. Do not talk only about the theory and all the beautiful stuff but also what can happen, what can go wrong, how the UX work, and how the solver competition works, and what other ways we are solving that and bringing that closer to the users. And so raise the awareness and ensure that we are improving and growing and making this ecosystem a better one. How many of you knows what intent-based trading is? I assume that many of you. All right, so I don't need to explain much. It's pretty self-explanatory. In short, intent-based trading means you don't specify how to execute a trade. What you do instead, you specify what outcome you want to get, and the solvers are the best. They figured out the best way to achieve what you would like to achieve. Solvers optimize the execution across multiple dimensions: price, routing, matching rather than locking execution into a single path. So what they do, they also ensuring they provide you with the best possible surplus, with the best possible price, protecting from the MEVs and so. It's like ordering a ride. For example, in the traditional DeFi, you drive yourself using the exact route. And what we do, intent-based, get, for example, to the airport using the best price, the best route, the best one for the user. And those who are driving that are solvers. They compete to serve you and provide with the best possible solution. Who are the solvers? By the way, I really like the picture. The cow looks really great. Who are the solvers? How many of you knows? My team? That's great, Jacobo, that's great. Who else? Okay. We have quite a few people who knows who solvers are. Okay, so here I'll explain a bit more, and also open to have any questions in the end of the presentation if you have any, so just keep that in mind. Solvers are independent actors who compete to execute the user's trades in the best possible way. They take your intent, find matches or routes, and compete to produce the best solution. And by the way, anyone can become a solver. The solver can be an individual, it can be a group of people, it can be an institution, and so. We do have very clear paths how to become a solver. You need to provide with a bonding. If you don't have your own bond, we're also providing with our bonding pool, and you can have more information about what does it mean and what do you need actually to become the solver. It's pretty straightforward. We also help with the onboarding. At the moment, we have 30 plus solvers. We are onboarding more and more solvers. And the great thing about that once solvers start working with us. They are sticking to that. We have had in the history only indeed few solvers who stop working or who start contributing less, I would say, but they are pretty satisfied, and we are glad to onboard and to provide more information to the new possible solvers. So if any one of you would like to receive more information, I'm happy to answer any questions in the end of this presentation or meet you on one-on-one, or I also will attach references in the end of this presentation with more information, how to become the solver, what do you need, and so on. And this is, on the right from me, you see the traditional batch auction. On the left, you see the fair commutator batch auction. That's on the UX side of the transaction, how it works. In the past, we had traditional batch auction. Starting last year, from June, if I'm not mistaken, we do have fair commutator batch auction. And why it is better? For multiple reasons. So as I said, we have 30 plus solvers. We are deployed on 12 chains for now. We also plan to be deployed on more chains in the future. Some of the chains, like for example, the Mainnet is the busiest one. It has the most volume. It has the most competition and so on. What we want to do, we want to incentivize the solvers more. We want them to win the executions. We want them to be profitable and so. The difference between batch auction and the fair commutator auction is that in the past, in the batch auction, you can have only one winning solver, and also they were able to submit one bid. Now, what we have in one transaction, we can have multiple winning solvers, and they also can submit multiple bids. That's a game changer. We see lots of positive changes since that. We also receive lots of positive feedback from the solvers, and this is one of the solution we found for providing better price for the users, first of all, because users for us are always the first, and also how can we incentivize and how can we motivate to have more solvers, how can we just ensure that this is the fair competition, that we don't have always the same solvers winning, and so on. So how the entire fair commutator auction works. So first of all, it's a very, very, very complex thing. I can talk about that hours and hours, and there is always something, we could miss and can catch up on that later and so. So there are lots of things happening in the UX, and also because that's so complex, it's very hard to explain in 20 minutes. That's why I'll just focus on some, more generic things. So, for example, when you go to CoW Swap UI, what you do, you just submit what you would like to sell and what you would like to receive. That we call the intents. All the intents we are gathering in the order book. And that's exactly where the solver competition is happening. So what's happening, we also have Autopilot, which basically pre-select the right solution and so. And what do we have in that order book? We have solvers competing and finding the best possible solution. And in the end, they submit their solutions, and we have multiple winners. This is the entire, again, it's very generic, but the entire order flow, how it goes. We have the trading intents, then they go to the order book. We have solvers who are competing to provide the best possible solutions. And the way how they do that, they can connect peer-to-peer. That's where a coincidence of wants, CoW, comes from. Basically, they connect with the other person with the other intent who is trading the same. Or they can connect with the liquidity pool or with the AMMs. Or they can have the ring trades, for example, some part taken from the peer-to-peer, some part taken from the liquidity, and so. In the end, we are submitting the winning solution on-chain in one transaction, and all the competition is happening off-chain. All right. So fair competitor auction and solver competition are very powerful, but it also means all the complexity moves to the solver layer. So they are the ones who are responsible for providing the best possible price. They are responsible for protecting from the MEVs and so. Solver compete to extract MEVs to provide the best surplus and pricing for users. And the theory is everything is, the execution is predictable, all they may be captured effectively, and everything is just great and perfect. What can happen in the reality is that solvers behave unpredictably, or some MEV vectors may vanish, or your order doesn't execute at all, solvers play too safe, and so. The good thing is that, for example, if your order doesn't execute, you're not paying anything for that, of course. For if something happened with the MEVs, user is not paying that. That's everything on the solver part. So what we do, we always protect the users. We always pay attention to that. And we always incentivize the solvers and look closer to all the things which, for example, should be improved going forward. Solvers operate under time pressure. This is also important to be aware of. They compete with each other, and somewhat they also have the uncertainty. They don't have the information about the other solvers, what do they submit, and so. And even in a well-designed system like CoW swap, they don't have perfect information, and so they don't have infinite time. Each transaction lasts around 8 seconds, so they have to be pretty fast. And since last years, we indeed improve a lot our time to execute, and they also compete against each other. How do we improve it? So this is something what we are constantly aware of, and this is something what we constantly improve that. So the first thing which those are just some of that. On the background, there are many, many, many things we are working on because it's very complex, and the solver competition itself is very complex, and we always put lots of efforts to ensure that the users are in the center and they have the best possible outcome. So we introduced the fair competitor auction, which I have explained to you already. At CoW protocol, solvers are getting rewarded, and what is important to mention is that we are the only one who provides rewards to the solvers, and you also can get more information the way how we do that, and for example, even about the surplus, and who is the first solver, the second solver. It's quite complex, but we are very proud of that, and we are very proud that we can incentivize the solvers, we can motivate them, and we can make always the solver competition even more fair. And so we have more diversity. There are continuous ones, AMMs, ring trades, and so the way how they can execute the trades. And we constantly improve on our UI, UX, and solver competition. And why is it so important? Like, we could just say everything is great, everything working well, but why we are constantly thinking about that? Because this is the market where we want to achieve bigger adoption. We want to come closer and to have more users who are not even familiar with that much with the Web3. So we really want to ensure that the UI works smoothly, the UX works smoothly, that users then don't need to think about like what to click, how to click, and so, and that solvers are incentivized enough. They indeed provide the best services to our users. All right, so if you would like to learn more about competitor auctions, you can check the CAP 67. I will also link that in the end of the presentation. The way how, in short, the way how it works in the order book, in the Autopilot, once solvers receive the intents, they submit their bids. After, in Autopilot, we filter unfair solution, or the one which are not serving the users, ranking them, and then reward the winning solvers, right? Those 4 steps, if we speak about that in short. Solver competition is very complex and constantly evolving, and progress comes from embracing that complexity, not avoiding that. So this is the message which I would like to leave you today. And let's become better every single day, and be mindful that there is always something we can improve. What is important is to be aware out of it, and also to do one step at a time to ensure that we are making this world a better place, that we are making Web3 a better place. So thank you so much. I'm Mariia, and it was really a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm very happy to talk with you if you would like to. To leave you more with the references, you can scan this QR code. And with how to become the solver, all the CIPs interested for this topic. And we also have open roles, and if you are interested in any of our opening roles, talk to me, because actually I'm the right person. I'm leading people department and recruitment at CoW. Would be very glad to talk to you. At the moment, we have 3 open roles: backend engineer with Rust, visual designer, and integration engineer. We also have the referral program. If you know anyone who might be suitable for our roles, refer them, and we pay up to 6K USDC for the referral person, to the referral person. We also DAO. We have many contributors from the grants. If you see anything could be improved at CoW protocol and you would like to contribute, please visit this QR code with more information, or just our website, cow.fi, and you will learn more about how to submit the grant. And if you would have any questions, feel free also to ask the community on the Discord. Would be glad to stay in touch. Those are my details, my social media. And that was a pleasure to be with you here today. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Thank you, Mariia. How do the solvers deal with KYT? So is there a possibility of freezing the funds? For example, if the solver treats it as like a yellow or a red crypto. So is it always non-custodial and without any filtering?
You mean, sorry, thank you so much for your question. You mean, sorry, I just like to, you mean freezing the funds from the solver or from the transactions itself when it's happening?
No. If user sends the transaction via CoW swap, I've used your protocol. It's great.
Yeah, thank you.
But I don't know. Is there a possibility that some solver will treat my crypto as risky and it will freeze the funds and will not return it in some case just because the KYT showed something?
So far we didn't have many cases like that. Usually it's always on the side of the user, so they receive the notifications, but not on the side of the solvers. For example, the solvers are protecting the funds, but it's not possible to freeze them from our side.
Okay, thank you.
So you mentioned that there were 30 solvers. I'm curious, roughly how are the sort of solutions distributed? Is it very dominated by a couple of them or very even?
Great question. Thank you so much for that. Indeed, we do have a couple who are dominating, but we also have many creative solvers who are smaller. And the way how we want to motivate them to become even more creative and to stick to the market, for example, when we have the new solver, instead of putting them directly on the mainnet where the competition is tough, we are putting them into the smaller chains where they can get more profit at first, learn how the competition works, and they then decide to stick to the few smaller chains and also to go to the mainnet. And so we really want to ensure that we're not only incentivizing the solvers who are dominating the market, but I want to ensure that we have variety of the solutions and variety of solvers who can benefit. Users can benefit out of it. Yes?
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I was wondering about who's responsible for eventually ensuring that a solver solution lands on a block. So if I want to submit an MEV transaction, for example, if I'm a searcher and I want to submit an MEV transaction, I'm responsible for bribing or tipping the block builder appropriately. In this case, let's say I'm a solver and I found a solution to a given opportunity. Who eventually is responsible for making sure the builder is appropriately awarded, and that eventually that solution is going to land before the route I found disappears, liquidity disappears at a given price or whatever?
Okay. Thank you so much for the question. It's a complex one. So we do have a mechanism which goes, for example, afterpilot, which is responsible for filtering the solutions and providing which are the best one, and winning solution for the users. Also, on the other hand, we are always keeping an eye on any possible malicious solvers, and that's also the reason why we have the bonding pool, which they submit, and it's quite a big one. It's 1 million of USDC and 1.5 million of CoW tokens. So it's quite a big, and it's a very little risk that it can happen, and if it's ever happening, this is something what we closely keep an eye on it, because we definitely, it's not something we want to have 100%. Okay, this one? Yeah, the last question.
Thank you. I just wanted to know, do you have stats on how much solver can earn a month? Because I guess it's the best marketing to onboard more solvers.
It's a great question. I believe we do, and all of our data is on June, so it's accessible. But if by any chance you don't find the information which you're looking for, you can always write to the Discord, or you can always write to the Telegram group dedicated to solvers, and we would be more than happy to provide you any information, because this is a very good one. Thank you. Thank you, guys. It was really a pleasure to be with you here. Enjoy the rest of the conference and enjoy your evening. The first day ended officially.